What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Zachary McAllister here, and today I'm going to be filling out my NCAA tournament bracket. Now, today is Monday at the time of recording this, and last night was Selection Sunday, so we finally have a bracket. We haven't been able to do this in basically 2 years because obviously the tournament was cancelled last year. So I'm really excited. This will be my first time making my bracket public, or making my bracket available to the public. So I'm really excited about that. Just a quick disclaimer before we get into it. I am a casual college basketball fan. So I'm just putting that out there. Before I get any hate in the comments, please, I am not a serious analyst. I have not watched every game for all of these teams. I have not watched every game for any of these teams, for that matter. So please, don't take this seriously. This is just my opinion on what I've seen. And let's have some fun. Also, I'd just like to say that I am a Stanford college sports fan, so there will be no bias in this because Stanford had a good shot of making the tournament, but kind of just threw it away this last few months. So there will be no salt, there will be no bias. This will be my honest opinion on what I've seen so far, what I've seen in the regular season and in the conference tournaments this season. So yeah. Also, one final thing before we get into the actual bracket. This is not my usual style of video. So if this is your first time watching me, this is not what I normally do. I am planning on doing more of this sort of predictions or reactions, or just kind of looking at stuff and kind of just talking over it. Normally I would, spend hours writing up a script for my videos. But today it's just going to be me talking almost kind of like a podcast, just talking through my thoughts, sort of off the cuff. I have no notes, no script, nothing, just me talking about college hoops. So yeah, before we get into the video, please, if you do enjoy the video, politely tap that like button. And if you are new around here, like I said, I will be trying to do more of these types of videos, so you want to subscribe for that. Okay, so let's start in the West, because in my opinion the West is the easiest part of the bracket to do. The way I'm gonna do this is I'm basically gonna pick the teams, or the teams that I think are heavily favored in their matchup, and we'll pick them first, and then we'll discuss the closer games after that. So immediately off the bat, I'm gonna go with Gonzaga. I don't really care who wins the play-in game. Gonzaga are not losing. So we're going Gonzaga to win that game. Then the next game, Virginia, I'm going to pick them over Ohio. I just think Virginia are the better team there. USC, pick them over Wichita or Drake. Even though Drake, pretty solid team, I just think USC are better. I'm going Kansas over Eastern Washington. Do I want to? Yeah, I'm going to go Oregon over VCU. I was considering leaving those for the closer part of the bracket, but I think Oregon is just better than VCU, so I should probably just pick them, And then Iowa against Grand Canyon. Iowa are definitely the better team there. So the matchups we haven't spoken about. We have Oklahoma versus Missouri. Now, for Oklahoma, they have Austin Reeves, who has been pretty good for them. Missouri, they don't really have a standout guy. They're kind of just a really good all-round, solid, experienced team. This is a tough one. Like, I know 8-9 matchups are supposed to be close, but looking at the rest of the bracket, I don't think there's a closer one. Let me just see who's the 8-9 matchup. Ooh. Okay, there might be one that's kind of as close to this, but I think this will be a really close game. It'll be a really fun game to watch. I'm gonna go with the Sooners though. I'm going with the Sooners. I just think that they're better quality. Going with the Sooners there. Then Creighton, UCSB. UCSB, very fun team to watch. But I'm probably not Creighton. They've had some head coaching problems. Their head coach has got into a bit of trouble and was suspended, then apologized, and then came back. So there could be some sort of turmoil there. They did make it to the finals of the Big East Conference Tournament, but then lost to Georgetown. So, do you commend them for getting to the finals and saying, okay, well, they're pretty solid team for getting there, but then do you also knock them for losing to Georgetown? We'll get on to them a bit later, but yeah. So there we go. Now let's move on. Gonzaga, I think, beat Oklahoma pretty easy. No real qualms there. I think Iowa take Oregon. I know some of you might find this really irritating that I'm kind of jumping around between matchups and not just going in like a straight line order. But I kind of want to get the easy picks out of the way, or my perceived easy picks out of the way, and then talk about the closer games, like this USC Kansas game. So this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be it's not going to be a tough game. It's going to be a fun game to watch, I should say. USC, who started out really well. Like, they look like a serious team. They look like the best team coming out of the Pac-12. I still think they are. I think they're better than Oregon. They've got potentially a top 3 pick, maybe the number 1 pick in Evan Mobley. I will probably be making a scouting report video on him in the coming months before the draft. Really good player. He's a big. His archetype as a big is one that I really love. A guy who can kind of do it all. Can pass, can dribble, can shoot, but can be really physical when it calls for it. So he's a big part of that USC team. But I think I'm gonna go with Kansas though. They have had some COVID issues. I saw a report that that might be something to look out for. But I think if they do overcome that, I think they're a really good team. Like, the thing with Kansas is everyone sees Kansas and expects them to be, a 1 or 2 seed. And because, you look at their team last year, and that team was probably the best team in the country, probably would have won the national championship, but then we all know what happened. And they lost Mudoka Azubuike and I'm forgetting the point guard, Devin Dotson. They lost Devin Dotson. Both of them entered the NBA draft. So their team isn't as good, but it's still a pretty good team. And I think that Kansas are very under the radar. So yeah, I've got Kansas there. Creighton versus Virginia. I feel like I should go Virginia here, but my gut just doesn't believe in them. Like these are 2 teams that I just don't believe in. They've shown me flashes that they can be a really good team, but I'm just not convinced by either of them. If I could choose the matchup, I would probably throw one of these teams or swap one of these teams for USC, so that we could have both USC and Kansas advance, because I think both of these teams are better than Creighton and Virginia. But I think I'm going to go with Creighton. I've just been more convinced by them so far this season than Virginia. So yeah. And then we have the last 2 games, or the last 4 teams, I should say. Not last. There's still another game after this in this portion of the bracket. So we have Gonzaga going up against Creighton, and I don't know why I'm spending so long on this. It's easily Gonzaga, and then Kansas versus Iowa. This is going to be an interesting game. Do I want to be cliche and go with the 1-2 matchup, even though those are clearly the best 2 teams in the best 2 teams in this side of the bracket? Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I just think that Iowa are unfortunate that they ended up on the Gonzaga side of the bracket. I think they could have been a Final Four team, but yeah, Gonzaga was going to make it through. I would be pretty happy with an Elite 8 though. I think, anything less, I think we'll be pretty disappointed. Anything more, I think, is pretty unrealistic. But I mean, they could be Gonzaga. Like, I am very high on Gonzaga. I have been pretty much the entire year. My favorite player in this upcoming draft class, Jalen Suggs, plays for Gonzaga. So, if you were to say I have a bias towards a team, it would be towards Gonzaga. But like, there's a reason they're undefeated. They're just really damn good. So that's the first side of the bracket. So let's move on to the South. Okay, so I'm just looking at the recording time now, and that did take a bit longer than I thought it would. So I will try and be a bit quicker when we're talking about these teams. Next up, we have Baylor versus Hartford. Baylor gonna take that game. Villanova versus Winthrop. You might think this would be a pretty easy game for Villanova. We'll get onto that later. I think Purdue take Northern Texas. I think Texas Tech take Utah State. Colgate, really good team, really good program. They're always in the tournament. But I think Arkansas are really good. I really like this Arkansas team. Florida versus Virginia Tech. We'll get to that. And we have Ohio State versus Oral Roberts. I'm gonna have Ohio State. Moving on there. So, let's talk about this Villanova-Winthrop game. So, I'm gonna come out the door and just say I'm taking Winthrop. They're just a really good team with a really good coach, with that winning culture, that winning mentality, against a Villanova team kind of reeling. Like, they were really good. Oh, I don't want to say they're really good, but they were a good team at the beginning of the season, kind of knocking on the door, being, a seriously good team at stages during the season. But they lost Colin Gillespie, which is huge for them. And I just kind of look at Villanova as like a fragile team at the moment, and Winthrop is just ready to demolish them. I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout win, but I think that Villanova are there for the taking, and Winthrop is probably the team that there are better teams, but Winthrop's probably one of the teams that they probably would not want to face, in this fragile state that they're in right now. Then we've got North Carolina versus Wisconsin. Kudos North Carolina for making it here. I mean, there were parts of the season where we were like, yeah, UNC, season's over. So credit to them for getting here. Credit to them after a couple of bad seasons. Things are starting to look up for UNC and Tar Heel fans. They're not quite where they want to be, but they're on the right track. Having said that, though, I'm gonna go with Wisconsin. I just don't believe in North Carolina. Wisconsin, solid team. North Carolina, on their day can be good, but just going with Wisconsin. The last game here in the first round, Florida versus Virginia Tech. this one. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech. Yeah. Yeah, go with Virginia Tech. Not gonna go in too deep there because it's pretty much a coin flip in my mind. And now that I've said that, one of these teams is going to blow out the other one. But I think this is a pretty close game. Next up, Beta. I think take Wisconsin. I think Winthrop. They take the giant killing, taking out Villanova, and they bow out to Purdue. Texas Tech, Arkansas. Arkansas, they're just a really solid all-round team. I think I said that already about them. But then on the other hand, you've got Texas Tech. We've got Mac McClung, who is a bona fide problem at this stage. So I'm gonna go with Arkansas. Texas Tech, good team, but I think they've come close and been short a few too many times for me. I'm gonna go with Arkansas. I like their team. And then Virginia Tech, Ohio State. I'm gonna go with Ohio State. Really motivated after losing in the final of the Big Ten conference tournament. They're not the best Ohio State team. They're not the best Ohio State team, but I think they've got some extra motivation in them. Then Baylor versus Purdue. I'm gonna go with Baylor, even though I'm not a huge believer. Well, I am, but they just haven't been the same Baylor team that everyone fell in love with at the beginning of the season since they went on that COVID break. Like, the defense hasn't been the same. The shooting is kind of coming around, but it's just not the same. Like, Baylor just doesn't have the same vibe it had earlier, but I do think they have enough to beat Purdue, who do have Travion Williams, who has been pretty good for them. I'm saying pretty good. He's been very good for them. But I think Baylor might just have enough. And then Arkansas, Ohio State. This is going to be a great game. Oh, this is going to be a great game. I think I'm going to go Ohio State, though. Yeah. Arkansas, great season. Top 3 seed. Made it to the Sweet 16. But, yeah. Gonna make it no further. Ohio State gonna win that matchup. And then Baylor versus Ohio State. Now, the question coming into this was, would I pick 4 1 seeds to make it to the Final Four? And I thought I would. I genuinely thought I would. And I'm not. I'm going Ohio State. I just think Ohio State just have that extra motivation. They're kind of, a team on the up, and Baylor's kind of a team on the down. I still think Baylor overall are probably the better team, but I just think momentum is such a key factor in these tournaments that I'm gonna go with Ohio State there. And yeah, that's pretty much my south side of the bracket. Okay, so I looked at the recording time again, and apparently we did a bit better that time, but still pretty slow. I'm still taking too long to make about decisions and talking too much. So we move over to the East. We have Michigan, gonna win this game. Don't really care who comes out of this match. Michigan winning. Florida State, UNC Greensboro, fun little team. Could cause some problems, but I really like Florida State, so I'm gonna go with them. My man Scotty Barnes, modern Magic Johnson, is on Florida State as well. So he's not the reason I'm picking them, but he is kind of the reason, because Florida State are basically a team of really long, physical, great athletes, and that's kind of what Scotty Barnes is. So he isn't the reason, but he is also the reason. Next up, Texas are going to beat Abil Christian. I'm going to go with UConn over Maryland. Maryland, really good team. Like this matchup is just terrible for both teams because I really like both teams. I think they're really good teams. I think they're teams that could have had a shot of going far in the tournament had they not been matched up with each other. Like I think both of these teams could make a run, to Sweet 16 potentially. But alas, they meet each other. I think UConn, James Bouknight, channeling the Kemba energy, and it's going to lead this UConn team at least past Maryland. We'll see how far they get. Wink, wink. But going to take them past Maryland. Then we have Alabama versus Iona. Rick Pitino back in the tournament. Great to have you back, Rick. Although you're going to get bounced in the first round by Alabama. So, yeah. Now let's go to this 8-9 matchup. Now, 8-9 matchups are generally the most fun because they're the two closely matched teams. And but in this case, I am going to go with Bonaventura. What has happened there? I think they're a really underrated team. I really like them. They've had a good season. LSU, Cam Thomas has been good for them, but I just think that Bonaventura has the juice. And I mean, you're basically battling to get beaten by Michigan anyway. So, Moving on, we have Colorado versus Georgetown. Colorado. Now, let me speak on Colorado. Colorado were not good at the beginning of the season. Or let me say they were not good. They were not this good at the beginning of the season. So they've kind of turned it up towards the back end of the season, which is, it's helpful when you're preparing to make a tournament run. But Georgetown has really turned it up, really close to tournament. So they're probably, I don't know if they're one of the hottest teams in the country, but they played well in the biggest conference tournament, obviously winning it. They got a lot of confidence. Patrick Ewing, first time making it to the tournament with Georgetown. So, there could be some good vibes there. So I'm going to pick Georgetown over Colorado in this 12-5 matchup. This is supposed to be the upset matchup. So let's go with it. Georgetown beating Colorado. Let's go. Now, BYU versus either Michigan State or UCLA. So first thing we know about this is in the playing game, there's two blue bloods, Michigan State and UCLA. So that's pretty interesting. Like that game in itself will be a pretty interesting one. I think Michigan State pull through though. I think that you don't want to bet against Tom Izzo, and Michigan State have actually been pretty good the past month and a half, 2 months. So they've got the momentum, they've got Tom Izzo, so they've got the experience. So I think they make it in here. And then they're going up against the BYU team, who have actually been pretty solid. Ryan Gonzaga were really close recently, and that's sticking in my head and making me want to pick them. But I'm gonna go with MSU, Michigan State University, to beat BYU in this game. I do think BYU could win this game, but I'm gonna pick Michigan State just because momentum, such an important thing, and Tom Izzo, the X factor for them. Next up, I think Michigan beats St. Bonaventura. Their run kind of comes to an end. Georgetown, Florida State. Georgetown, hot team. All the reasons I mentioned of Colorado, but I think Florida State are just better. I really like this Florida State team. We'll speak about them a little bit more later. I think Texas beats Michigan State. And then I think, this is a tough one. I really like James Bouknight. I really do. And he's kind of the reason why I'm kind of seriously considering this. But Alabama. It's just been really good. I'm gonna go Alabama though. I'm gonna go Alabama. The Crimson Tide. I wouldn't be surprised if UConn won this. I wouldn't be surprised if UConn or Maryland advanced and knocked out Alabama. That's something to watch for. But I'm gonna go with Alabama winning that matchup. And then we have a further upset with Florida State taking Michigan. I just really like this Florida State team. They're just really athletic, physical, long. They play a really good brand of basketball, selfless brand of basketball. Yeah. And Michigan, without Isaiah Livers, and before that, I was kind of thinking, you know what? This team seems like a team that kind of gets really good in the second half of the season. People think they're contenders that season, but then get upset and then come back the next season and then they're seriously contenders. Like Gonzaga was the last year and the year before. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Florida State to upset Michigan there. And then I'm gonna go with Shaka Smart, the man with the South African name, because if you don't know, I am South African. So for long-time viewers, there's a little tidbit information about me kind of buried in this bracket prediction video. But anyway, I think Texas beat Alabama. Texas do have that championship pedigree. Won the Big 12 conference tournament. Won at Maui. Have been in big games. Have won big games. And that's why I got them picked here. And now, this is probably... Let me just double check. We have Baylor. Yes, this is almost definitely the toughest champion, or the toughest Elite 8 game I've had to pick so far. But I think I'm gonna go Texas. I really like this Texas team from Maui. Coleman's been really good, and they've got some NBA prospects there: Greg Brown, Kai Jones. The rest of their guards are pretty good as well, good shooters. Like Texas, like Florida State as well. Would not be surprised if Florida State pulled this out. Like, I genuinely think we could see one of these two teams in the Final Four. So yeah, and then we have the final part of the bracket before we get to the Final Four, the Midwest. So I've just checked the recording time again. I don't know why I'm updating you guys about my recording time, but yeah, we went a bit long on the East, so we're gonna breeze through the Midwest. We start with Illinois, Drexel, Illinois. Oklahoma State, Liberty, like Liberty, but Oklahoma State, led by Kate Cunningham, going to take the win there. I think San Diego State. A lot of people saying Syracuse are candidate to upset, to cause an upset. Yeah, I think San Diego State are better than that. West Virginia, I think they win there. Houston beat Cleveland State. Now, Loyola Chicago, team I have loved and followed the entire season against Georgia Tech, a team who has been pretty hot as of recent. So this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be very interesting. I'm still not sure who I go with. It's basically going to be Cameron Kirtwick versus Moses Wright. Two really good players, have really good seasons. I think I'm gonna go Loyola Chicago. Just out of my own personal feelings that I would rather see Loyola Chicago with Georgia Tech, even though I think Georgia Tech have been pretty good as of recent. I'm gonna go with Loyola Chicago, and then that means we get the battle of Illinois. You got Illinois versus Chicago. Then Tennessee versus Oregon State. Oregon State, surprise Pac-12 champions. You know what? Oregon State, surprise upsetters in the NCAA tournament, taking out Tennessee, who have been inconsistent all season and who haven't been convinced about pretty much the entire season. Yeah, they got two NBA prospects though, Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson. So we'll see what happens there, but I think Oregon State has it in them. And then we get the orange and black versus the orange and black in the next round. You see, I'm picking teams based on their next round in this part of the bracket, it seems. But yeah, let's move on. I've already spoken too much about that. San Diego State versus West Virginia. I'm gonna go with Derek Culver and West Virginia here. I like San Diego State. Really like San Diego State. They were my team, like my second team last year. That I was back into the tournament. They were undefeated. Did they finish undefeated? Or they were undefeated for a really long time. You can see I'm a casual fan. But my guy Malachi Flynn, who's killing it in the G League, by the way. Again, I'm rambling. But anyway, West Virginia taking on San Diego State and winning that game. Clemson, Rutgers. Guess what? I'm going Rutgers. Clemson went out that great. Played in a pretty bad ACC. Rutgers, solid team. I'm picking him. I'm taking Illinois over Loyola Chicago. The Battle of Illinois. I'm gonna take Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State there, setting up another nice matchup in the next round. And then wait, why did I just realized I picked this game before I picked this game. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna pick Rutgers to beat Houston. Not gonna miss by Houston. I think that. Can I change that? Yeah, I'm actually gonna go Houston. I just changed my mind. I think it'll be a close game. Not convinced by Houston at all, but I think Houston might just have enough to take out Rutgers. I literally just changed it on the fly. I was like, I believe in Rutgers. They could be the team to cause an upset here, but I'm gonna save that for West Virginia, who beats Houston. I'm not convinced with the Houston team. Like they're pretty good, but I don't think they're as good as people think they are. And then Illinois versus Oklahoma State. This is a tough one. I could absolutely see Cade Cunningham just putting on an absolute blinder, beating Illinois, knocking out Ayo Dosunmu, and leading Oklahoma State into the Elite Eight against West Virginia, in which they beat West Virginia, and then Cade's in the Final Four. You know, like, is Cade Cunningham gonna lead Oklahoma State to an NCAA title game? I can see it. That's the problem. Is I can actually see it. Like I can see the Bleacher Report articles. I can see everyone on Twitter blowing up, or everyone on Twitter talking about this. I'm gonna go with Illinois though. I really like the Illinois team, but Cade Cunningham just scares me. He's so good. Like I will be making a video on him before the draft as well. And I think Illinois beat West Virginia. West Virginia, really hardworking team. Love them. Love their attitude. Been following them since the very beginning, pretty much. But I think Illinois has this. And now we should have our Final Four picks. So we have Gonzaga versus Texas, two teams who I liked throughout the season, and Ohio State versus Illinois. Let's start with this one because this game was the Big Ten tournament conference. What am I saying? Big Ten conference tournament final, in which it went to overtime, and Illinois pulled out the win. Now, because of that, I'm tempted to go Ohio State. But then again, I'm kind of like, am I really going to pick this game because of one game in the past, when in basically every other game, Illinois has proven that, and even in that game, Illinois proved they were the better team. Like literally, the game they played recently, Illinois won. Plus, in basically every other game for both teams throughout the season, Illinois has proven they're better. So why would I pick Ohio State? Yeah, I'm going Illinois. And then on this side, Texas, apparently is now a basketball school, not a football school. They made it to the Final Four. Congratulations, Shaka Smart. You won the Big 12 conference tournament. You made it to the Final Four. What a season. But Gonzaga is going to end up winning. And then we have the two best teams in the country making it to the finals. Wow, what a bracket. I would love if my bracket came true and we got this. Like, I would love if any bracket came true and we got Gonzaga and Illinois in the championship game. But I'm gonna go Gonzaga. Yeah, Gonzaga. Just been too good. They're gonna be, I don't know when last, but it's been a long time since the team has gone undefeated in the regular season and then gone on to win an actual championship game. Gonzaga, I think, are gonna do that. They're just really good. They're basically an NBA team. Like, they've got 4 NBA prospects. They've got Drew Timme, who is one of the best players in the country, and they're running an NBA style offense. Like, they're basically an NBA team playing against college teams. So that's kind of why I picked them. But yeah, I'm not gonna pick the final score because I generally have no idea. I'm starting to lose my voice as well. I'm not used to recording videos for this long. If you have somehow made it to the end of this video, you're probably the only person that has, so you can pat yourself on the back, and please like the video and subscribe if you are new, although if you're watching me till the end you probably are subscribed. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, it's been your boy Zachary McAllister. Enjoy March Madness.